Hello, thank you for being here, Virgo. Welcome back to Virgo. Uh, so, the person who broke your trust is circling back, not with silence this time, but with words. Words they've rehearsed, words they think will undo what their actions carved into you. Words that attempt to rewrite history where they were the villain into versions where they were just misunderstood. And you're going to have to decide what those words are worth because apologies arrive in many forms. Some land like medicine, others land like manipulation. Some open doors to healing. Others are just keys trying to unlock access they no longer deserve. Let me paint what's approaching through the fog. Betrayal leaves a particular kind of wound, not the clean cut of an honest ending. The jagged tear of discovering someone you trusted was operating in bad faith, that the relationship you believed in was partly fiction, that while you were giving them your genuine self, they were calculating how much of themselves to withhold. You remember the moment you discovered the lie, the betrayal, the careful construction of their deceit collapsing under the weight of truth they couldn't keep hidden anymore. Maybe they were seeing someone else while promising you exclusivity. Maybe they were talking about you behind your back while smiling to your face. Maybe they took something, money, credit, opportunity that belonged to you while maintaining innocence. Whatever the specific betrayal was, it broke something fundamental, not just the relationship, but your ability to trust your own judgment because you didn't see it coming. And that failure of perception haunts you more than the betrayal itself. Now they're coming back with explanations, justifications, the kind of carefully crafted narrative that positions them as victim of circumstance rather than agent of harm. And you're going to have to wade through their words looking for actual accountability buried somewhere beneath the self protection. Some people return because they've genuinely transformed. They've done the work to understand what drove them to betray. They've examined their character deficits honestly. They're returning not to get something from you, but to give something to you. Clean confession without manipulation. True apology without strings. But others return because they're lonely, or they're facing consequences they want to mitigate, or their new situation isn't working and they're reviewing old options, or they've constructed a revisionist history where you were partially to blame and they need you to accept that fiction so they can feel better about what they did. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider, if the person who betrayed you reached out, would you want to hear them, or would silence be kinder to your healing? The words coming in might arrive as text, as email, through mutual friends testing the waters, as I've been thinking about you, or I owe you a conversation, or can we talk about what happened? The phrasing will be careful, designed to get you to engage before you've decided whether engagement serves you. Some betrayers are strategic in their return. They don't lead with apology because apology would require admitting wrongdoing. They lead with nostalgia, with reminder of good moments, with gentle questioning about your well being that feels considerate until you realize it's actually reconnaissance. They're testing if the door is still open, if you've healed enough to be soft again, if time has done the work of forgiveness that they're not willing to do through genuine accountability. Or maybe the words will be blunt, raw, actual confession without decoration. I lied. I hurt you. I'm sorry. No justification. No blame sharing. Just acknowledgement that they caused harm and responsibility for that harm is entirely theirs. That second type is rare because it requires humility that most people who betray lack. It requires facing yourself as someone capable of causing significant harm to someone who trusted you. And that reflection is so uncomfortable that most people avoid it entirely. This reflection invites you to consider, can you tell the difference between someone apologizing to make themselves feel better and someone apologizing to make things right? There's something critical about what makes betrayal different from other relationship endings. Clean endings hurt, but they're honest. This isn't working. I've changed. We want different things. These hurt, but they don't leave the particular poison that betrayal leaves. Betrayal is injury plus insult. The harm itself plus the disrespect of thinking you wouldn't notice or wouldn't matter enough for them to show you basic honesty. It's being harmed by someone while they were looking you in the eye and lying about it. That creates trust damage that extends beyond the person who betrayed you. You start questioning everyone, reading deception into normal behavior, requiring proof where you used to accept words, building walls so high that even safe people can't reach you. And the person who betrayed you might be returning now because enough time has passed that they think you've healed, that the damage they caused has been repaired by time and distance alone without requiring their participation in your healing. But some wounds need more than time. They need acknowledgement from the person who inflicted them. They need that person to witness the harm they caused and take responsibility without deflection. If the returning person can't do that, if their words are full of, but I was going through something, or you have to understand why I did it, or I'm not the only one who made mistakes, then their return isn't about your healing. It's about their comfort. This reflection invites you to consider if someone's apology includes justification. Is it actually an apology? Let me describe what you might feel when these words arrive. First, probably anger, sharp and immediate. The audacity of them thinking they can just reach out after what they did. The presumption that you'd want to hear from them. The violation of your space that you've carefully rebuilt without them in it. Then maybe curiosity. What do they want? What will they say? Have they actually changed? Or is this just another performance? Is there something real being offered, or just more manipulation disguised as remorse? Then possibly temptation to engage, to respond, to see if maybe this time it could be different, to test if enough time has passed for trust to be possible again. Some part of you might want the relationship back, not because they deserve it, but because what you had before the betrayal was valuable, and you miss it, miss them, miss the version of the relationship that existed before you knew the truth. But you can't return to that version because it was partly fiction. The relationship you miss included your innocence of their betrayal, and that innocence is gone. You can't unknow what you know. So, any relationship rebuilt has to be built on new terms, with your eyes open, with their actual character, the one capable of betraying you, fully visible and accounted for. And most people who betrayed you aren't capable of being in relationship where you see them that clearly, where they can't hide behind performance, where their character flaws are known and monitored. They want forgiveness that comes with amnesia, want you to forget what they're capable of. Want to return to the dynamic where you trusted them completely so they can have access to you without the discomfort of being watched. This reflection invites you to consider if you let them back in. Could you ever trust them completely again, or would part of you always be watching? Let me be direct about what you might need to do when their words arrive. First, you don't have to respond immediately. You don't have to respond at all. Their need to confess or apologize or reconnect doesn't create obligation in you to receive it. You can read it and sit with it. Can take days or weeks to decide if responding serves you. Can choose to never respond if silence protects your peace better than engagement would. Second, if you do choose to engage, require specificity. I'm sorry without acknowledging what specifically they're sorry for is empty. I hurt you without naming how is incomplete. Make them demonstrate they actually understand the harm, not just that you're upset, but why, what specifically they did, what impact it had, what they took from you through their betrayal. If they can't be specific, they haven't done the work. They're just performing contrition to get something they want. Third, trust is earned incrementally after betrayal, not rebuilt through one conversation or one apology, through sustained behavior over time that demonstrates actual change. Words are easy, changed behavior is hard. And most people who betray don't actually change. They just get better at hiding, or they find new people who don't know their history. So, if they're asking for another chance, the answer isn't yes or no. It's show me over time through actions, not words. And if they're not willing to earn it slowly, then they're not actually interested in rebuilding trust. They just want immediate access without accountability. You remain in complete control of whether you engage with their return. You can listen or block, forgive or maintain boundaries, give chances or protect your peace. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has brought up a specific person who betrayed you, maybe dread about them reaching out, maybe hope that maybe they've actually changed, maybe clarity that no words they could say would matter. Whatever it is, honor it, take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If someone who betrayed you reached out with an apology, what would they have to say for you to even consider listening? Drop it in the comments. And this, is there a difference between forgiving someone and letting them back into your life? Someone who lied and betrayed you has words coming in, and those words might be genuine remorse or strategic manipulation, might be actual accountability or carefully constructed narrative that minimizes their harm and maximizes your supposed contribution to the betrayal. You won't know until you hear them. And you don't have to hear them if hearing them costs you peace you've fought hard to rebuild. Not eventually. Soon. Maybe already in your messages waiting. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you can discern between real apology and performance. Trust that forgiving doesn't require forgetting. Trust that you're allowed to protect yourself even from someone who's learned how to say sorry convincingly. See you in the next one. And listen, betrayers returning with words doesn't undo the betrayal. It just gives you new information about whether they've actually changed or just gotten lonelier. Require accountability, not performance. Your peace matters more than their redemption arc. See you soon.